Is it a good idea when sales are low and traffic is lower to try and outsell your competition on certain keywords that you want to rank for? So when traffic comes back, you'll be ranked high already and get more sales. Yes, on Amazon, you need sales to get sales. What this essentially equates to, and what you're saying, is that yes, even when traffic is really low, it is actually your most advantageous time to double down on keywords, on sales, on traffic in general. Literally, one of the core principles I have for seasonality products is it is more impactful for you during your off season to focus heavily on your overall sales volume than during your actual high season. Because once you actually get through your off season and once you are in that off season, you're going to want to make sure that in your high season, you have a great ranking. The only way to do that is in your off season, really focusing in very heavily again on those specific keywords for high relevancy, high ranking, everything. So, yeah, if you're in a low sales period, right now is like prime time to be focused on that. The first day of Black Friday week, the impressions and sales collapsed. I applied 30% bid increase rule on most campaigns. Impressions seem to recover a bit, but not the sales. What would you recommend? Are you running any form of promotion? That would be my question. So, usually speaking, it's going to not be, I think, great the first couple of days because Amazon pushes the actual Black Friday deals so heavily. So, if you're not running a deal the first couple of days, that's when you're going to see it. But over the next few days, those impressions are going to start turning into clicks, start turning into sales. So I would really, really focus on that first and foremost. Is yes, that's super common if you don't have enough of a bid when you first go into it. So you can sometimes under optimize on that side of things. My other suggestion here would be to make sure that it's very apparent that you're running some kind of promotion. If you are, you're going to have to be a little bit aggressive. I'd be curious to know what the category is that you're running in here. And from there, we can kind of backtrack and see, is your category running a lot of promotions, right? Are you running any form of promotion? If you're not, then likely you're going to be a little under indexed and you just have to focus a little bit higher on showing up first. Black Friday event is messing with my BPC. Yep, that sounds about right. This past week, my sales momentum and relevancy has been good. I've been getting great placements. As of yesterday, mostly product placements, raise bids. You could potentially, yes, but what more than likely is the issue right now is that the overall cost per click for each one of the different areas, so top of search, rest of search, is probably higher than what your bid is right now. That's why you're primarily showing up on product placement instead of rest of search and top of search. So I would actually add modifiers to those two. So you're only raising your bids specifically for those. Because if you raise your bids overall, you're still going to show up for that product placement, but you will also show up for the other one. So if your specific goal is to not show up as much for product placement, you want to raise your bids, but only for those two specific placements. My sales have been terrible all October and even November. And now Black Friday has come and I don't want to participate in it. Just lose units and barely make profit. But is it best to wait for December? Yes. So here's the thing when it comes to November, your sales are going to suck until about Black Friday. Once Black Friday comes around, your sales can start to do a little bit better, but overall, they're still going to be like not the best they ever have been. The other aspect there is that essentially when you're dealing with any product that you're not wanting to like sell through, I mean, it just takes time, right? So there's always a cutoff point, but I would really guess and see whether or not, Black Friday does it for you. More than likely, you're going to run out of units, you're going to run out of product through Black Friday. So that'll be kind of like your high selling season, so to speak. That would be my best advice there. And no, you don't have to run a promotion for Black Friday. You can, but honestly, a lot of times with Black Friday, you're going to get the sales, you're going to get the traction regardless. But yeah, October and November are just rough months because people nowadays know that Black Friday is going to be like a week or 2 week long endeavor, basically. So it's hard. We also sell children's books in the UK. September school starts. We crushed it, but October and November is terrible. Will December be the same? So more than likely, Black Friday still. December might be the same. I mean, the thing is, if you are focused in a category like children's books, right? There's very few times of the year. Like that's still a very seasonal product. It's going to be around the time in which people start school. It's going to be around the time of gift giving. So things like Christmas. It's going to be, potentially a little bit towards the end of the school year as well. So those are going to be like your three primary areas that you're focused on, or times of the year that you're focused. So for something like your products, December may be okay, but you're not going to see like the high sales volume that you probably get at the beginning and like back to school season that you normally would have. I effectively relaunched my product, dropped my price to $29.99 to develop sales velocity, and stair stepping my price up. It's day 6, 11% USP, and 4 to 7 sales on average. In a day or two, by what amount can I increase the price without shocking the algo and tanking my momentum? I always recommend 5 to 8%. So 5 to 8% price increases is what I am going to do on a weekly basis. The point of doing 5 to 8% is, one, you're not going to get hit with a high pricing error. And then two, it gives time to incrementally get your average sales price up a level and then increase it the next week, again, 5 to 8%. So 8% on the high end. You can do up to 10, but over time, you're just going to kind of shoot yourself in the foot by doing price increases too quickly. And that's not going to shock the algo so much as it's going to essentially hurt your ability and get you a high pricing error more than anything. If you go to myamazonguy.com/price, you can actually look at our structure for how we typically are going to try and do this. And again, we usually are going to recommend doing a price increase of around 5 to 8%. Obviously, that's going to depend, but that's a great resource for you just to kind of see how much you should be increasing. About to launch a new product. What percentage should I structure my ads? For broad, phrase, exact, auto. My niche is extremely small with the top competitor ranking for 105 keywords. Really small niche category there you have. Here's what I would typically recommend. So from a percentage basis, if you have a really, really small niche, that means that there is a very small amount of like what is that you can actually target for high relevancy. You probably have a very like specific product set that you have to be going after. Normally speaking, I would say you want to have your campaigns structured at around a 40 to 50% broad. You want to have probably 30 to 40% exact, and then 10 to 20% in phrase. Now, that being said, if you have a very, very particular niche, such as yours, where you just don't have that many keywords that you can actually rank for, broad is not going to do as much for you in that capacity as something like an exact or a phrase match would. So I would actually probably leverage exact match a lot more frequently in that scenario because you just have less opportunity. How can we use search term impression share report to optimize the campaign? Yep. So the primary thing when you're looking at your impression share report, right, is that's basically telling you what your ranking is. So very similar to if you opened up like Helium 10 Cerebro, right, and you're looking at your product and you see what your sponsored rank is, that's basically saying, here's your search term impression share report. So for instance, if your impression share is super low, you're seeing at like 1 to 2% of total impression share, that means you're probably not being seen and that you're probably underbidding on that keyword specifically. So that's the best use case, I guess, there. So the best way to use it, look at it, understand if you're getting less than, let's say, 25 to 50% of the impression share, you probably have less of a top of search, and you also probably aren't showing up as frequently because you're bidding too low for that specific search term. How can you put bid rules? So bid rules is just a bid adjustment. Essentially on the actual campaign, it'll show on the left-hand side as bid adjustments. And you can just click that and add that for top of search, rest of search. You can do it for audience groups. You can do it for product pages as well. But yeah, I mean, bid rules are super simple. If you're talking about like actual rule-based advertising, I personally don't like it. Can we set bidding rules the same way we set budget rules for ads? Yes, somewhat. So bid rules is just the adjustment, right? So budget rules, you can't do, if you're talking about like the idea of like day parting, yeah. So under the same exact area, you can set from a bid perspective to increase your bids, same way that you can set up to increase your budget. And you can also set those for a daytime, a specific date or anything like that. So yeah, you can still set those exact same. You just do that again from campaign level versus doing it from the actual like bid level or the actual ad group level. Anyways, if you guys need any help whatsoever, you can come over and check out our services here. Some really, really important and impactful ones right now that I would recommend people do. Full listing optimization as well as listing images. We're seeing a lot of really, really good results as of lately with our listing images, especially. we had a lot of questions in the chat here today as well that people were asking specifically, how to increase their conversion rate, how to increase their click-through rate. And that's where things like your listing images are going to be a huge importance. So for anybody needing some help, come on over to our website, check it out. If you need extra assistance, you can actually also book a call with one of my team members, just myamazonguy.com/book, and go talk to one of my Amazon experts, and they can help you through any problem you have. So I will see you all soon. See everybody.